Hello, this is the Bud Triangle. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight, we bring you Mark's Dangerous Ideas. I am your host, Mark. Joining me tonight will be my co-host, Jay, and our temporary permanent guest, Chris. Stay tuned for crazy ideas, zany theories, and wacky facts. You never know what you'll find when you dive into the Bud Triangle.
He just throws backwards in front of my face before I can even catch my breath.
He's like,
Yikes.
roll these.
Did you even read what I said?
Takashi gets shot at.
Yeah, that's fake. That's some news I saw on
Who's
Snapchat.
Takashi?
6'9".
You don't know Stiggy with the icky butt? He gets made fun of so much, dude. Yeah. Stiggy with the icky butt.
What? Who is he?
He's that fucking clown rapper with rainbow hair, and he's got like the tattoo 69 on
These
his
sounds
face.
are recognizable.
No. I'm just making up these noises.
Clint! Sticky with the picky, yeah. That's what his songs sound like.
That's not what he sounds like.
Yeah, that's a good one, Chris.
That's not. No way.
Squeak! Yeah, and he has a music video where he sits in a cop car and raps like he's trying to kill cops or something. I don't know. Scientists discover a new species of sloth living in Milford, Connecticut. Smoking unmeasurable amounts of THC and vaping huge clouds that are leaving smoke signals and
this
smoke
guy.
stacks.
Horse simulator and woodcutting simulator.
You're a woodcutting simulator now?
Yeah, the forest, dude.
Oh. Wait, what was this other simulator?
Horse simulator.
Oh, shit. Yeah, for when he's a fucking rustling horse thief in Kentucky. One of those Kentucky rustlers. Rustling up some trouble.
Alright, acting like you never been a fan of a video game before.
Actually, that's a good topic for the podcast. How video games,
Ruined our
in
lives.
my opinion, were created by the military to create super soldiers.
Really, dude? I don't feel like a super soldier.
Same.
Or super.
Yeah, okay, but those fucking losers that work at the drone bases and pilot drones, those guys are like, I was saying to Jay before, like, does anyone ever get, like, past those really super difficult, extreme levels in video games? You know what I mean?
The extreme levels?
Yeah, like the hardest levels of any video game. Like, how many people actually achieve that? You know, not a lot. So the military goes and looks at all those guys' high scores, and they're like, all right, these are the most psychopathic guys we could find. Let's fucking recruit these ones to do the school shootings.
Dude, they used to have, for Counter-Strike Source, they used to have,
School
Online.
shooter edition?
it was for the PC, so that they had online, like, stat scores. So you'd sign up and it'd keep track of your stats with certain guns, like how many
You're that cold, you fucking balloon?
like how many kills you'd get with certain guns, like the accuracy of your hit and stuff.
Okay.
Just watch that clip. And I was the fucking 27th ranked sniper in fucking the United States.
Wow.
In the game.
That's superhuman. That's a super soldier
You're
right there,
not-
Mark.
Not in the top 20,
on
bro.
that website.
They probably take top 5 for snipers.
On that website. And so I wouldn't
They don't
say
need a lot of snipers.
I wouldn't say like 27th in the United States, but on that website I was 27th ranked for the United States.
Oh, you're probably shadow
And like
banned.
that was where everyone was
Dude,
like
you're
fucking
you're
using stats.
you're just shadow banned playing NPCs, bro.
I got that score just playing easy mode practice.
Playing
28
NPCs.
hours a day.
Non-player characters.
So why did the CIA create the video games? And they
Dude, the
didn't
CIA
create all the video games. Imagine all the stupid ones that are like Farm Simulator and Harvest Moon and All those they didn't create those games.
I guess not.
Dude, you got your vape in here, dude? My coil's burning out. Or Mikey's coil is
Oh,
burning
it's
out.
over there.
Okay.
You want to grab it?
I'll grab it.
All right, Mark, come on. Give us some dangerous ideas. That was a stupid idea.
What?
Video games.
Dude, what are you, a video game proponent over here, dude? You addict, causer. No, Chris. All right, this is a solo dolo.
That's a personal?
What?
Yeah,
Alright, well, that's for the.
And you took one of mine backwoods?
yeah. I also smoked you up 4 times today.
I threw in every single one. So it's
With
not
my-
a smoke
with
up.
my backwoods. Jay, there's no such thing as personals anymore, all right? We're all sharing this.
Okay, that's
Chris?
what I thought.
Don't worry.
Alright, man. No,
Chris.
you know what?
You're throwing
No,
down.
give me it back. Give me it back.
Throwing it down. You're throwing down, okay? You mother flipper.
No, give it
Well,
back.
I'm instilling a 30-second hold on blunt.
Look at what
Oh,
you did.
30
Mark.
seconds.
Look what you did.
That means you get to hold it for 30 seconds.
You get 30 seconds
Look
to
at
hit
what you
2
did,
puffs.
Mark.
To get 2 puffs.
That's such a waste. What are you doing for the other 28 seconds that you're not hitting? I literally take 1 hit per second.
one hit per second?
Yeah.
Well, I'm rocking fucking 2 hits per second.
Are you recording right now, Jay? Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bud Triangle. We're back. It's been a long month. Jay has been fucking under the covers somewhere, tangled up in some web of blankets. And Chris, he's been practicing for the new vape trotters. Yeah, that's the vape trotters, trotting from basketball courts around the world, doing fucking vape tricks through the hoop. They literally blow hoops and then, blow the ball through the hoop. Yes, yeah.
They blow the hoop.
Yep. It's great.
And today we have Mark's Dangerous Ideas
Today,
1.0.
Today we're gonna be, taking a walk down Mark Lane. Gonna take a little look at me, 1/3 of this podcast, and Chris and Jay, they're gonna have a chance to ask me all the questions they want. Hopefully, trying to trip me up and get me to say things that I didn't mean to say. All kinds of comic ensues. All kinds of comedy ensues. Whatever
All the
I
good
just
Mark
fucking
Steve
said.
stuff.
Who knows? I can't even make a whole sentence half the time.
Just putting them in a big conundrum.
Conundrums, yes. And I'm over here rolling a backwoods. Today's podcast is sponsored by Backwoods.
You can't say it's sponsored if it's not sponsored.
Really, Jay? Says who?
The sponsorships.
Okay, well, when we start getting checks from Backwoods, those checkwoods,
Checkwoods.
then you'll be sorry, okay? Because I'm not going to let them put your name on the checks.
The Checkwoods.
It's going to be me and Caruso cashing those bad boys.
I'm going to be genuinely asking Mark questions for informational purposes.
Okay.
Well, to see, many people don't know. I'll start this off. I'm actually a nerd at heart, even though now I'm just a full-blown goofball. I started my life off as somewhat of a book nerd, so I like to think that I know things.
I mean, you're capable of pulling massive amounts of information out of your brain.
Thank you.
Specifics.
Thank you.
I can't do that. Can you do that?
Thank
No, but we don't know how much of it
that's
is
a
true.
skill.
We don't know
Yeah,
how
but
much of it
like,
is true.
okay, like in terms of like doctors' names and whatever.
In terms of what he's saying. Sometimes it could just
I
be
don't know.
Trait that.
I don't know where the doctor name came from, but
Well, I mean, like,
'cause I don't remember doctor names.
well, I'm just bringing up like.
Dr. Judith
Nothing
Resnick, and
What
how
the
she
heck is that?
how she's duping everyone, pretending to be a dead astronaut when really she's a Yale law professor. Yeah,
Oh, the
Yale law. Look them up.
what's the mission that was?
Jay, save it for the Patreon. Okay, that's where we get into the conspiracies on our
Where's the-
Patreon.
What was that mission called?
Challenger.
Challenger.
Yeah. Yep. The Apollo 13.
Michael J. Smith.
Yeah. See? But we're going to save that for our Patreon podcast where me and Chris delve into conspiracies that could get us killed one day.
YouTube Red.
YouTube Red.
That could get us killed one day. code phrase right there. That's why
you just read.
All right, ding, 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 folks. Ding, ding, ding. The blunt of truth is lit. Our two contestants have until the blunt goes out to ask as many questions as they'd like, and I have to write down the ones I like and answer them in whatever order I'd like.
No, I don't like that. It's a stupid format.
Oh, you think that's a stupid format? Can you tell that we're spitballing, audience? Can you tell that we're making this all up off the top of our heads?
That is stupid.
Because Jay said the same thing when we talked about this in pre-post. Jay, do you have an ashtray?
You said you were going to introduce
No, he doesn't.
us to something. You haven't introduced us to anything.
All right, fine. Do you believe in aliens?
Of course.
I'll give you 30 examples.
30 examples?
How about the Rendlesham Forest incident?
Okay.
Yeah,
No
Rendlesham.
rush. This blunt's gonna take at least 20 minutes. And then there'll be the second blunt of truth, and maybe even the third blunt of truth. I mean, how many are in a backwoods pack?
We have 4
5.
left. All right. Well, we can
So,
talk
like,
about
you really
Rendell.
think these aliens are have gold-plated ships?
Well,
You think aliens have invented another not invented, but maybe discovered another element similar to gold?
dude, you want to know?
Properties of gold.
You want to know when my life changed forever? Okay, because you just brought up a
Can
great
you
point, Chris.
pass me your Halo?
Yeah, pass
ashtray?
the ashtray, bro.
Your Halo top ashtray.
Jay's all bundled up like a
You
like a
gotta wear a
fucking
sweater, bro.
like a
a
fucking
sweater
cotton
maybe close to
burrito over
100.
here.
I'm warm now. It's okay.
Dude, you're still all bundled up like a cotton burrito over there, dude.
So?
All right.
At
Anyways,
least
Chris.
I'm warm.
Chris was asking me about elements. Well, guess what? When I was in 10th grade, I asked my science teacher, Mr. whatever the fuck his name was, Mr. something. He had one of those last names that was kind of like a first name, like Mr. Matthews or something like that, and you kind of just remembered him by that last name only. So anyways, this guy, I asked him, I said, "Hey, Mr. whatever, is the periodic table of elements a complete periodic table?" And he said, "No, it's incomplete. Scientists find elements every now and then, and they're discovered all the time."
Yeah.
And so when you ask me if I think aliens have exotic materials made out of elements that we have not discovered, I think that's extremely likely. Not just possible, but likely. I mean, let's just talk about gold. I mean, why would human beings who have no technological advancements whatsoever even care about gold other than the fact that it's shiny? I mean,
Because
people
we're told to care about it.
I mean, yeah, but why are we told to care about it? Like, let's think Paleolithically. Like, if you're in a tribe of people and all you know is hunting and gathering, and you find some shiny gold, like, other than showing it off, what value does it have? Because there's not enough of it to like make a whole economy with it.
Well,
I
you
mean,
probably can't. Right. Well,
Like,
I mean, you probably can't find
at
it.
first, at least, you
Find
can't.
a lot of
You
it
couldn't
at
find a
first.
lot of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't find enough to make like coins out of it.
But
and
that's
even
what made it special. To keep,
Yeah.
at least, in terms of
Well,
like
that's what you think, but I kind of have learned over my years of research that gold has been emphasized on this planet by us humans for very suspicious and I would even say sinister reasons.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So what I mean by that is simply the human race was created to mine gold for the Anunnaki.
Right. I've talked with you about this.
We've talked
before.
about this. And I think we can
You have to preface this whole
So,
thing.
we can preface this by talking about how weird gold is. First of all, gold is the most strong material because it's the most malleable and it holds its
What'd that mean?
it holds
I'm
its
not sure.
ionic structure even when it's really thin. So it's hard to like. It's very indestructible even in like small quantities. It's very like useful for reflecting heat, reflecting radioactivity and
Is it
different
conductive?
radio frequencies that you would hit in space, like gamma
So-
rays and whatnot.
Right.
It's
So
conductive, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's very conductive. It's like like gold superconductors are like
conductive.
very expensive.
You have gold plated. You probably have a gold plated jacks.
Yeah,
They said
iPhones have gold in their circuit.
They said the top
boards.
of the top of the pyramid, the cap of it was solid gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Most of their our electronics are gold plated because it just conducts way better. But on the space note, I don't really know too much about the Hubble telescope, but I know that it could see galaxies far away.
Because it has gold on it.
Does it do? But like, for some reason I'm under the assumption that we can determine like matter that we know of in these faraway galaxies. Like, you know, if it has like carbon in it,
Oh,
like,
we have
stuff
the,
like
like
that.
the ability to see that with the telescope now.
I'm under the assumption because we can see planets. You know how we
Well,
can
I think
search
they
for
can.
planets?
Yeah, I think they
that are
can make
Earth-like?
assumptions about what elements are where based on environmental factors that they can observe.
But do you think that they encounter planets where the machines like there's no entry data for this composition? We have no entry data for this composition. Like, it's not any element that we know of, but we can't figure out what it is because it's so far away.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I think a good question to ask our listeners would be like, why is gold so valuable? Like, people just kind of take that as a given. Like, you're born thinking about gold as like this thing that kings have in stories, and like dragons guard and all this stuff about like gold being kind of mythical.
At this point, it's ingrained in our human society, at
But-
least since like, you know, forever almost. It feels
Forever.
like
Yeah.
the whole human.
Huh.
The whole human, like, all the way down to the Sumerians probably were worshiping gold.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is resistant to most acids. It's used in all different things. It dissolves in mercury,
Is
forming
one-
an amalgam alloy.
And what does that mean, Mark?
An amalgam alloy? That's an amalgam, which is a combination of two metals, creating an alloy, which is a combination of metals. An
That
amalgam
makes sense.
alloy is probably a type of alloy.
Do you think that there's a certain genus of like below Homo sapiens? That's, you know, the anthropologists can look at up to a certain genus of where we actually started using
Being
gold.
what we are now.
Using gold as like a jewelry sort of cosmetic
How would they figure that out?
things. I guess there'd be people who excavate.
Bodies with gold, like the first person.
Yeah, maybe they find
The
like
oldest gold on a man.
like a genus
A
of like
human.
man. Yeah, and he's got gold on him.
Well, it says that gold has been used as a precious metal, even though it's a relatively rare element, for thousands of years throughout recorded history. So as long as we've had records, we've had gold. And we abandoned the gold standard as our world currency standard after 1971. And it was only adopted for 41 years, from 1930 to
The
1971.
gold standard.
Yep, and now we have a fiat currency, which is just
Paper.
Yeah.
debt
Paper
based. Debt based.
Debt-based.
And fuck debt, dude. We're over here in Conman, Connecticut,
All right,
getting
enough
shot
about
up
the
in the
debt.
taxes and tolls, dude.
Who's the
Who
Anunnaki and why do
Did
we
you hear
want
about
to-
we're not gonna talk politics here.
What, in this deadocracy?
Yeah.
we're
We'll
not
get
talking
back
about
to that in a
politics.
separate episode.
That's
But
gonna
this
be a
episode,
Patreon episode.
we need to get back on track. Who's the Anunnaki
about
and
this,
why are we
dude?
mining gold for them, Mark?
Did you know
That's gonna be
that?
a You Jizz Red episode.
Did you know that salts are used in medicine as anti-inflammatories?
Yeah, yeah. And they got the gold flakes in that fucking alcohol.
They also have
Bottoms up.
gold leafing and tooth restoration. You can get a gold tooth for, you know.
You get gold grill.
Yeah.
All right,
Ooh,
enough. Answer the question, Mark.
origins.
You could be like Tekashi 6ix9ine with that gold grill.
Answer the question, Mark.
What's the question?
Who's the Anunnaki? Why are we mining gold for them?
The Anunnaki are said to come from the planet Nibiru. The planet Nibiru was spotted first by the Sumerians. Plato talked about Atlantis along with many other scholars during his time. Atlantis has been written about. There's evidence for it nowadays. Okay. We see relief carvings, giant men wearing strange outfits with technological seeming devices on their wrists and on their belts. We have evidence of monolithic structures that are so complex that they couldn't have been built by the cultures that were recording history around the time that those were more modern. And I would also say that the Anunnaki are the Prometheans that gave the ancient cultures that we can harken back to through stories. They gave them fire, which created the civilization that we have a trace back to. But who knows, man?
You don't think
There could have
that-
been multiple societies, multiple eons of people on this planet.
You don't buy that like
That God created the
that,
earth?
like, that like thunder like struck the ground and created a fire, and like the monkey people were like
Well, there is. Well, even though that's a great monkey impression, and there is a lot of evidence showing that monkeys in certain African countries, not monkeys, apes, chimpanzees, can use fire to their advantage. Like they'll walk over and grab a stick that's on fire, and then
Really?
and then use it to
I
like.
haven't seen that.
Yeah, they'll
that
use it to
footage.
scare other animals with the fire. So they'll use it to like catch animals and kill them, or they'll also use it to like
Wow.
burn certain
So they
things.
really are in the Stone Age now. Because like it's already been reported that the
All right, hold on.
chimpanzees are starting to enter their Stone Age.
Stone Age, Bronze Age, Silver Age, Gold Age, dude. Sounds a little Olympian to me. You know why?
Is that
Because
how it goes?
the Greeks invented that whole idea of a Bronze Age and all that. And I don't think that's really a credible scientific thing anymore. Stone Age,
evolution
the Stone
theory?
Age. Well, they're
Theory of
calling some.
evolution?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like those measurements. I don't think we have enough evidence of the past to really say that the Stone Age was a particular way and look at chimps and say, oh, they're Stone Age now. Like, how do we even know we were ever a Stone Age?
I'm not saying we were chimps. I'm just saying that if chimps as a race or species we know that they're mammals and they're intelligent enough to where they are starting to use tools and fire.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's not going to become a Planet of the Apes scenario.
Yeah, but how
it's
do we
gonna
know
be-
they haven't been doing that for a long time? Like, just because we started researching chimps 50 years ago doesn't mean that they weren't doing all this stuff 200, 300 years ago. You know, people just weren't paying attention to it 400 years ago, what chimps were doing.
True.
You know? So, like, just because I'm saying our perspective on chimps is, like, kind of limited, and it's also,
We
have a
think that they've
limited
been using
perspective.
fire recently?
No, I mean, you're saying that they're evolving to use these tools. I'm saying, what if they've just always used them? How do we know that they never not used them?
But is this a dangerous idea?
I think it is, because a lot of people don't want you to
we've
know.
been studying chimps for
People don't want you to question the history of
at
human
least
beings.
since the 70s. We've been studying chimps. Probably
It's only 50
earlier than
years.
that.
Yeah,
but I'm
probably
saying
100
in the
years
50
tops.
years that we've been watching them,
100 years tops.
the fact that we haven't spotted them even using fire.
Yeah, but
until
how do
recently,
you? Well, that's the thing, though, is you can't even say that because the world was much murkier back in the day. Like now we have fucking hundreds of people with cameras going around different countries looking at wildlife. In the 60s, there's probably 100 people, tops doing that kind of research. Now
Maybe.
there's thousands of people. So I'm just saying that
Maybe.
the amount of researchers, the amount of exposure that nature is getting is much larger. So we kind of have like a a biased perspective on things like, oh, everything's evolving around us. It's like, no, maybe we're just evolving to notice these things that have been going on longer than we just were aware of, you know?
It's possible,
But that goes back to the Stone Age thing.
There could be more researchers, though.
But we look back at like things that we find in the ground and we're like, oh, this is a Stone Age thing, and then we date it and stuff. It's like, all right, but we were not there, so really, like, it's still an assumption. So when you say like, oh, well, they're in the Stone Age now, it's like I feel like that term is just not really all that useful. It doesn't really help. Which makes things more confusing.
It's just a title for us humans to like classify.
To make things more confusing, dude.
Classify.
Because if we had, well, here's my point though. Here's my real point is like if we had Stonehenge and the pyramids around the same time, we had people bonking each other over the head with clubs. Like, is it really Stone Age? Like, those megalithic structures are pretty complex. There's a lot of mathematics that went into that.
Saying.
So, like, how do we, like, even though they
weren't in their Stone Age. That wasn't the Stone Age when they were building those things.
Yeah, that's what they say.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Look at the timelines. They say that human beings around that time were supposed to be, like, Neanderthals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, officially, if you study history and archaeology, civilization didn't start until Mesopotamia. And then after we found these things called the Hammurabi Code and the Emerald tablets that Zachariah Sitchin looked into and talked about Anunnaki in the first place, that we found that was the oldest culture. But now we found Göbekli Tepe, and then you see like the Mesoamerican pyramids, and then you see like the Bimini Road that's in the Gulf of Mexico, and you see that there's all these structures that are past the predating Sumeria. So everything per Sumeria was considered hunter-gatherer, proto-human,
right,
pre-civilization. But so are all these megalithic structures.
Right, that's as far back as we've gone to Sumeria,
yeah.
right?
So we have what's happening is there's a scientific bias. There's an archaeological bias that wants people to not even look at that time in history as a time when humans were advanced, because that would mean that these scientists are not powerful or something.
No, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You can't. There's got to be a better reason than that.
No, that's a dumb reason. I copped out at the end there, but here's here's a more complicated reason. So, the origin of man is from people that don't resemble white people at all, dude. And there's a certain amount of racism and bloodlines that these rich and powerful people who fund scientific archaeological trips to go find mystical stuff. Like, everybody thinks that scientists just go out and do this stuff for the sake of science. Yeah, maybe nowadays there's hundreds of people who are like that. But back in the day, you didn't even get funding to do that kind of stuff unless someone like a king or a queen was interested in what you had to do. Like, so the king and the queen or whoever had the money would be like, yes, we heard stories of a crystal ball in this ancient tomb, and we need you, young stone worker, to go dig and find it so we can have the power to see our enemies and their fate. And then you would go and you'd get that shit, and then a demon would, or a pharaoh mummy would like cast a curse on you, and then you would bring bad luck back to Napoleon, and then Napoleon lost, dude. And that's probably a true story, because Napoleon shot the Sphinx's nose off, and then his whole country became like the first country to revolt, right? Napoleon was post or pre-revolution, French Revolution, right? He wasn't after the French Revolution.
Yeah, he was like 18.
He was pre-French Revolution.
1700s.
Either way, so my point is, the funders of all these expeditions to kind of create the basis of our knowledge of archaeology, it started off biased. It started off with people who had an agenda to control the narrative and own people's minds and enslave them. And if we all knew that we're gods and we came from gods and that we have the same potential to fly through space and move huge stones and create beautiful, amazing pyramids and all the amazing technology that they made, then we can't be controlled if we know all that stuff. So they want to keep us weak-minded. They want to keep us weak-boned and fucking feed us poison and fucking sterilize us.
But, all right, well,
And that's but it starts with the mind. It starts with the education.
yeah, okay, but like, what? So what's the alternative? We get
what we have
fund
is
archaeologists to look for.
No, well, there's already plenty
Like,
of good
even if
archaeologists out there, but they just get discredited by the mainstream publishers. So you have, now you
All right,
have,
but they're not finding like secret technology.
dude. Yes, they are. Have you ever heard of the Antikythera device?
I don't know.
So the Antikythera device is a device that they found in the middle of the Mediterranean Ocean, and it's made of like technology that like we have never seen before. It basically calculates the position of the constellations so you can navigate a ship. It's spelled Antikythera device. Antikythera device for anybody who wants to search that. And not only that, but we've also found in Siberia a gear and a metal alloy that is so advanced that we couldn't even make it these days. So, and that was in some peasant farmer guy's backyard, and he didn't know what it was. It was in one of his coals, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, he was burning a fire, and he found it in the coal, and he gave it over to the government, who analyzed it. Because as much of the propaganda that we get, Russia's not really that bad of a place. They're anti-secret society, and the Bolshevik Revolution and the Tolstoy, all those guys, they were just anti-Illuminati, anti-fucking bankers, anti-central bankers who want to run the world.
More or less, yeah.
And that's why Russia came to the defense of the South in the Civil War, because the Civil War was basically the bankers in the North trying to control the whole country, when the people in the South, they wanted to have their own power within their own states instead of having one centralized bank between all states. And now a lot of people will tell you, oh, we all have the same dollar bills because it makes things easier. But back in the day, people didn't have to use money the way we use money today. So it worked better for them then. But, that's a whole different topic. Anyways, so, yeah, there's a really lucrative investment you make when you try to control the narrative of people's history, because when you can control people's backstory, you control what motivates them, you control what inspires them, and think about the story they try to tell you in the Bible, dude. It's like, oh, there was a garden, we all were born in this beautiful garden, and then we all lied, and then we got cast into this hellish world that we live in, and now you have to forgive yourself, and you have to like ask for forgiveness from this God, and like, it just puts you in this place of like secondary, and like God is the primary and you're the secondary. And really the old religions had it where you were the primary, you were the God, and as gods we were powerful, and we were able to use our full human potential.
Like what old religion?
What old religions?
Yeah.
Well, Jay, there's many. Mithraism, the Zoroastrianism, ancient Hinduism, Jainism still has some, Buddhism, Taoism, let's see, shamanism, paganism. It's a lot. And those are all just ones that we have still around today. There's even older ones that have been forgotten.
Yes, Chris?
So it's like this is the gear you're actually talking about.
Antikythera device, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they call it the Antikythera mechanism.
Yep.
But this paragraph basically sums it up. It says detailed imaging of the mechanism suggests that it had 37 gear wheels, enabling it to follow the movements of the moon and the sun through the zodiac to predict eclipses and even to model the irregular orbit of the moon, where the moon's velocity is higher in its perigee than its apogee.
Boom. Does that sound like some shit that the Greeks created? These drunk motherfuckers drinking wine,
Dude,
or
that
the
makes me-
Romans
Dude, I'm Greek, so like I'm like
banging
oh, yeah,
each other
man.
in the butts.
Does that mean I'm like sort of alien?
No, dude, that just means that the Antikythera device is a leftover device from an older culture. The same culture
Think
that
so?
created the pyramids, Stonehenge, the Bimini Road, the Becky
More
Tepe.
Why
advanced.
don't you think? Well, the Greeks had
Even the Parthenon.
possession of it. so-
Even the Parthenon wasn't created by the Greeks, and there's in most of these cultures they say, yeah, we didn't create that, the gods did. And then 2,000 years later, everybody wants to pretend like all of a sudden that's a metaphor, and it never was. It just never was, and that's the whole lie that they're trying to sell us, is that we're not gods, we're not powerful, we need to, we owe some imaginary thing, all these virtues. And it's like, no, we can be virtuous and we can be good for our own sake. And that's what being good is really good for. Not so you can save your own ass and make it to some fucking sweet paradise after it's all over. That's the kind of sick shit that makes people greedy. That's the kind of thinking that makes people lust. That's the kind of
if the
thinking
Greeks,
that makes people gluttonous.
if the Greeks had this mechanism, why couldn't they learn?
The
and
Greeks
use that
didn't have it.
technology?
They just found it near where the Greeks supposedly lived. There's no evidence that they ever used it.
Okay.
It just comes from, like, think about it. The Greeks talked about all these gods coming around and hanging out on this mountain, right?
Yep.
What do you think mountains are good for? Spaceports. It's the closest place to the the highest part of the atmosphere. It's the highest part of the
Wait a
Earth.
second.
Spaceports.
I mean, we can think about it all we want, but that doesn't mean that's how it is.
It does, because we
No, it
even
doesn't.
have legends of stories of beings in flying machines and coming out of these machines and talking to us. And it's like, you can look at all these myths and you can say, oh yeah, those are just metaphors.
Aren't there hieroglyphics
But
with,
that would be kind of naive.
with UFOs?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be naive to think that these were all metaphors. First of all,
Yeah, but, like,
we're talking about
I think
beings
the
who,
Greeks could have built the Parthenon. Why couldn't they have?
bro, just
Doesn't-
like the
I
pyramids.
just looked at a picture of it. It doesn't look that fucking
Have
crazy.
you been there?
No, I haven't.
It's huge. Those pillars are literally gigantic.
Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, all right. I don't
How
know,
big
man.
are they?
Like, I don't know. I looked at it. It looks pretty fucking
have
big.
you seen the pillars at the
It
like
doesn't look
courthouse?
as big as the pyramid.
Have you seen
though.
the pillars of the courthouse downtown?
Milford?
No.
New Haven?
Yeah.
Oops.
It's okay. Gun wave in New Haven. Shout out to all my homies.
Whatever. I didn't mean to.
Well,
You
Chris,
mean to
just
what?
Chris, just
No, no,
imagine.
New Haven?
Chris, just imagine 3 times larger, probably. And that's an estimate,
That's big.
but it's big. And there's a lot of megalithic structures, but like I was saying, dude, there's a lot of stories about these things happening, and why would it's just not a metaphor. And here's another piece of evidence. So the bicameral mind, right?
Yeah.
We have 2 left and right brain, right? So over the past 100 years, our diets have changed a lot, which has led our glands to shrink and our physical anatomy to change. So imagine if our third eye, this gland that in other animals helps them see higher frequencies of color and light, right? What if in us, a large mammal, when this gland is fully healthy and on a natural human diet with fresh DMT in the fucking food because plants have DMT in them.
Yeah.
And if you have a good diet, and your glands are healthy, what if you can see the 4th dimension? We're only 3rd dimensional creatures. We dream in the 4th dimension. What if ancient people, they were just seeing 4th dimensional things? So what's happening is, and this is a very, very esoteric theory, okay? I haven't even spoken of this ever.
Okay.
So this is something that we think about scientifically. Ice is a solid. The air we're breathing is the same thing, but a gas. And we can drink water, right?
It's not the same thing.
Okay, H2O. You
But the
breathe it in,
air-
it's vapor. It's in your little vapor
This
thing.
air is not H2O.
It wouldn't turn into water. Okay, I get that.
Most of it's nitrogen.
Okay.
This air.
Either way, you get that there's 3 states of matter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about this on an extrapolated level, a spiritual level. Okay.
Okay.
The whole universe is solidifying into the 3rd dimension. Okay. We used to be in a 5th dimensional gaseous state. We dream in the 4th dimension when we go into our liquid brains because we're 70% water. Okay, your brain is literally sitting in a tank. Okay.
And it dreams in a 4th dimensional liquid state, you said?
Yep. And you're in the 3rd dimensional
So
solid
liquid.
state right now. And your spirit is 5th dimensional gaseous state.
Okay.
Just like water, ice, steam,
Alright, I see what you're saying.
right?
Yeah.
So, just like you can exist in those 3 forms and you do simultaneously, the whole world around you has slowly been getting cooler and solidifying. And this is where the Big Bang Theory has its roots. Because there's stories in the Norse religion, there's stories in the Aryan religion, which don't get me wrong here, this is not Nazi stuff. The Aryans were the pre-culture of the Indus Valley, okay? They used to live where modern-day India is, okay?
No.
They influenced more than just Hindu culture. They influenced a couple different cultures in that area. Zoroastrianism was one that existed in Persia.
Zoroastrianism, yeah.
So,
Novus.
you know, there's stories of these sort of like events in their
Christianity,
myths,
yeah.
right? Of like in Norse religion they call it like this like fermentation where like the gas kind of bubbled over and boiled and created the land and all this stuff. But it's like, you know, they have these kind of weird things in their myths. Science, almost sounding science. Like if we go back and look at these myths with scientific mind, knowing what we know about the way the elements work and the physics work, because like as much as science and scientists can lead us astray, like we do know things about the universe, atoms, you know, our concepts help us understand the world. And another, you know, it's kind of like a mind experiment,
Mind what?
not a mind
Exercise?
game. Yeah, there we go. A mind exercise to be able to take something on the micro level and think about extrapolating it to a macro level, right? So we have the ability to look through a microscope and see a brain cell. We also have the ability to look through a telescope, and I'm sure you guys have seen these memes on the internet where they show you a brain cell and then like the biggest picture of the universe we can take with the biggest camera we have,
Yeah, like
and how it looks exactly the same. And then there's like other examples of how like the inside of your lungs look like the way trees grow, or how like, you know, all these different
Right.
examples of that kind of stuff. But you can do that with ideas and thoughts and scientific concepts too, because if physics works on a small level one way, then we can extrapolate and say, well, that's how physics must work on a large scale, right? We can just scale it up. And that it doesn't work for everything, but it works for a lot of things. And that's actually one of the great laws, the first law that was written by the 3 initiates in the Hermetic tablets, the Hermetic truths. Now these
Is he able to just pull
are
information
esoteric
out?
codes.
Can't
Okay,
do that shit.
the esoteric codes. Okay, and as above, so below, is the first rule on that code, that tablet. And all that is just a scientific parable, you know? It's science in an ancient religion. And that's what my whole point is science, religion, they're all the same thing. We're trying to understand the universe around us using concepts that we can share and use to grow our own knowledge by exchanging ideas, right? Because we're all on this mental network. Right. And there's kind of like an unlocking that happens when you start to use your intuition and trust your intuition. Because, you know, my spiritual belief is that if your heart is in the right place and you actually want to help other people and you want to help the world and you want to help yourself, then the universe will start to allow you to find the information that's useful for you and will help you on that. Because it's a life positive universe that we live in. Life wants other life to flourish for the sake of letting other life flourish, right? You see that in nature all the time. Things sacrifice themselves for the good of other things all the time, and we call it death. But really, all things are recycled, you know? And, you know, thousands of creatures die for the good of, you know, everything else, right? But basically, the whole point that we're trying to get to is that we can understand the world around us by going within, trusting ourselves, and unlocking that feeling, that key unlocking different chambers of your brain that were already there, storing that information. It was already in there. You just need to unlock it. And that's in your DNA. And that goes into the 12-strand DNA theory. Human beings have 2 strands of DNA, right? But the theory is that a complete, total spiritual being with all its chakras and glands healthy and like complete, total human potential would have 12 strands of DNA. And we, being genetic experiments of the Anunnaki, born here to be workers for them, we got cut a bad deal and we were only given 2 strands. They were going to give us 1 strand, but the good aliens amongst the Anunnaki, because just like there's bad humans and there's good humans, there's bad Anunnaki and good Anunnaki. All right. So the good Anunnaki amongst them wanted us to have a chance to be conscious, because if we had only 1 strand of DNA, it would be like a circuit that doesn't have 2 sides, right? You just run electricity through it, and eventually it just burns out. But they gave us that 2nd strand so we could have a full circuit and have the ability for consciousness, you know?
Are there things with multiple strands of DNA?
I think science has actually discovered things with more than 2 strands of DNA. Yeah, we can look that up, though.
On that note, we should roll another blunt, and you should tell us why they need us to mine gold. What did they use it for?
Can we go to a commercial music break and we'll roll up a blunt?
I could edit in whatever you want.
Yeah, let's edit in some music and keep this shit going, dude. Let's just play music right now while we're rolling the blunt. I'll do it.
Is this
No,
can you
no,
Google?
It can't work like that. No.
Can we get a guy? We need another laptop in here so we could just have Google open all the time so we could fact check ourselves.
Yeah, but we can edit in whatever. We shouldn't play music now on the mics. That would just be weird.
It worked last time.
Yeah, it worked last time.
Oh, my legs. How long have we been recording? 52 minutes. Not bad.
Don't play music.
This is the end of part 1. We'll be back with the beginning of part 2.
All right, and here on the Bud Triangle, we have a voicemail from a fan caller. We're going to go ahead and play that right now.
Hi, my name's Ernie, and I'm here with my brother Quentin. Hey. And, you know, I love listening to Bud Triangle when I'm shaving my dad's neck. But, you know, sometimes when I get too involved, he's like, hey, boy, you better keep shaving that neck, boy.
Oh, shit. That's why I listen to the Bud Triangle with my brother here, because we're trying to forget about all these times we got to shave our father's back. But I got to say, you know, the Bud Triangle is a really cool podcast we listen to when we're driving around in our truck looking for streetwalkers to invite into our truck.
Ooh, wait.
You know, but thank you for putting on such a cool podcast.
Streetwalkers.
Thank you for putting on a cool podcast, and thank you for to Philadelphia Pete for selling us all this really good weed. And that's that.
Oh my God, Quentin. Ernie, what are you thinking?
Sounds like Philadelphia Pete's got that heat, dude.
Oh my God, he's got that heat.
They're smoking some good bud if they're out there shaving their dad's neck. I know I'd have to be pretty high to shave my dad's neck. Well, I hope the Bud Triangle does you boys well out there. They didn't say where they're from, but if Philadelphia Pete's at reach, then they must be somewhere near Pennsylvania.
Thanks for the comments.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, hey, if any of you other fans have any calls that you'd like to call in, the number is 203-605-6078. Give us a call on that number and leave a voicemail.
And our email is thebudtriangle@gmail.com.
Where can we find the evidence? Anunnaki, show your presence, yes. That would be a good song. Anunnaki, Anunnaki, Anunnaki. I come knocking, I come knocking, I come knocking.
That's a weird one.
Anunnaki, Anunnaki, Anunnaki.
I don't know if I like that one.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark.
Why? Because it sounds too Christian?
Yeah.
Sound like a Christian Bible.
Yep.
Bible camp theater hour.
That's why.
St. Paul. Dude.
Mark's dangerous ideas.
Yeah, Mark's dangerous ideas. Here's one. St. Paul was a liar, dude. That guy told everybody he wrote the Bible because God told him all about these fucking... You know what? And then people shit on the Mormon religion because the guy did the same... John Smith did the same thing, except he said he found golden tablets from the Native Americans that had some kind of secrets on them, but he couldn't tell anybody the secrets. And then there was this ghost that would come and talk to him. He couldn't show anybody the ghost because the ghost was not allowed to be seen by anybody else, otherwise he would disappear. Like, that's a convenient fucking superpower for anyone who's trying to conceal, you know, the grand cult leader of religion. Oh yeah, let's just give him the power of disappearing anytime anyone sees him but me. It's a great imaginary friend fucking power right there.
Yeah, it's a good power.
And you know what? The Mormon Church will probably sue us and take us off podcast for this, the podcast sphere, so we should probably edit that out. The Church of Latter-day Saints.
Mark's dangerous ideas.
Mark's dangerous ideas. Jim Carrey, kind of cool guy. Maybe, maybe not. What do you think? Jim Carrey, you've been acting really weird lately, guy. Why don't you release a documentary and let everybody know what's up? Because you have a lot of cool ideas and everybody's making you out to be some kind of kook, all right? Some kind of new age woo-woo. But you're not. You're a genius. You're smart. You're funny. You're one of the funniest comedians. You have some of the best-selling movies in history, especially comedy movies. You and Eddie Murphy are like up there for the fucking top spot, baby. So Jim Carrey, if you ever listen to this, and I hope this, if anyone's listening to this and they know how to reach Jim Carrey with this, I want you to send this to Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, if you hear me, Jim Carrey, okay, you are the world's next Buddha, okay? All you need to do is
That's
go...
a dangerous idea.
That's a dangerous idea. This has been Dangerous Ideas with Mark. Come on down. Come on down to the saloon.
No, that's a dangerous
Check
idea.
your guns at the door because we're shooting dangerous ideas in this saloon.
Give me a different dangerous idea. I didn't like that one.
Dangerous idea. Okay, well, De Beer. You know who De Beers is? De Beers. Hey, De Beers, I'm calling you out. You invented this fucking...
You mean the football team that won the Super Bowl in 1986?
Not De Beers, bro. De Beers. De Beers Mining Corporation. They probably are so slick they changed their name by now so nobody would catch on.
To what?
But here's what I'm going to let everybody
De
know.
Beers?
If you haven't heard yet, and you probably have because you're woke as fuck, listening to this podcast, but De Beers is a diamond company that has a monopoly on all the diamond mines in the world. Not only that, but they invented the whole idea of getting engaged and giving engagement rings. This wasn't even a thing. People didn't even give rings to each other when they got married until this fucking stupid company created the first ad campaign, and now people spend tens of thousands of dollars just to get married. Okay? You can't put a price on love, ladies and gentlemen. So I want a big round of applause. Applause. No pausing, just applauding, okay?
Applause.
Round of applause for the one and only ladies and gentlemen out there who've gotten married and refused to buy each other wedding bands because that shit is stupid. A wedding band? I think that's just a ring. That's cool. But you don't need to put a diamond on it. Okay?
And this has been a dangerous idea.
I think you got to preach to women about that, because men probably don't care.
Oh, really, dude? You know how many men have fucking could have put like $30,000 down on a house, but instead they put $15,000 just so they can buy an engagement ring?
Yeah, Chris.
That could
I think
screw
there's a
you
lot
over.
of men who are like, I could care less.
And I don't know anything about anything when it comes to financials, so that could have sounded really stupid to someone who's bought a house and an engagement ring. And I know neither of us have ever done that. Renters, single. Me, of course. I still live with my parents. But anyways. Yeah, Chris, I think men care just as much because men are usually the ones footing the bill for the ring. Women are the one who, yeah, you need to get them to know about it because otherwise they're just going to get mad and think you're a bum.
Like, if women didn't care, man ain't gonna be no problem.
Alright, that's been a dangerous idea. Back to the main dangerous idea. If my purpose in life is to mine gold, why am I not mining gold right now?
Well, let's see, Jay. Do you have to get a paycheck to survive? Do you have to pay money to survive? Do you have to go to the grocery store and use money to buy food that helps you survive? Do you have to spend money to buy heat that helps you survive? Do you have to spend money to put gas in your car? Okay? Yeah. You know what happens with all that money? It gets funneled up to the top, and then those people use that money to buy gold and hide it in Fort Knox and the World Trade Center and every other fucking place has been false flag attacked, dude. Because they're just walking around stealing gold. That's why they took money off the gold standard so they could just hoard it all. And now when the Anunnaki come back, keyword come back, because they're on an elliptical orbit that's different than any planet that we know. So it has an odd oblong orbit. So it comes around every 13,000 years, allegedly. And they're holding all the gold. Maybe they already came in the dead of night, because Fort Knox allegedly is empty.
Yeah.
And the World Trade Center had a lot of gold in it, and that's all gone. Nazi gold, okay?
Yeah.
And that's why the Nazis were looking for gold. The Chinese, who are obsessed with dragons, aka ancient UFOs, love gold. Every hit story about dragons is about gold. Dragons are also scaly creatures who breathe fire and fly. Okay? It's only been 200 years that we've made them look the way they look in Shrek and all these cartoons. Okay? But before that, it was just big, shiny scales like a lizard. Okay? That could easily be metal. Right? This is all ancient alien shit. You could look this up. You could watch Ancient Aliens and figure out what I'm talking about. But anyways, my point is, gold is hoarded by every country, dude. Whether or not, and, there are bases that are big enough to support an alien spaceship, probably. So they could have just had them come over to Area 51 and pick up the gold and say, all right, thanks. We'll see you in 13,000 years. Don't worry about us. We're going to just enslave these humans.
Well, wouldn't we see the planet, though?
I don't know. I mean, it could be some kind of like physical anomaly where it's
I've been watching Star Trek recently.
Maybe it's just dark or something.
I've been watching Star Trek recently, and the Enterprise encountered a planet in which the whole planet was in a cloaking device.
Okay, see, that's possible.
Wow.
Also, think about this. And I know this isn't anything new, so don't act like I'm the fucking messiah, because 1,000 people have said this. All right?
I don't think me and Chris are acting like that at all.
I'm not talking
Let
about
me bow
you.
to you, Mike.
Okay? I'm not going to talk. Hey, listen, you're about to have your mind blown, okay? So calm down.
Yeah, because me and Chris are totally acting like that.
Roswell, 1949. The evolution of modern technology. Post 1949. Rapid? Not rapid. I'll let you answer that one.
I don't know
Mic
what the
drop.
question was.
1949 was Roswell?
1947, 1949, somewhere around there. Ever since Roswell, the technology that we've had on this planet has evolved times and
What
times
is
again.
that? We don't know what that is.
I know what Roswell is.
Roswell?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Roswell is, dude?
No.
Oh my god. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat. This is Mark's story time. We're going to talk about Roswell.
Mark's
And we'll-
dangerous ideas.
Chris, you want to help me out with this one?
I can give you the short and sweet.
Yeah, we don't need the long and
Well, Chris, I want
long
you.
and bitter.
I want.
From Mark.
I want Chris and I. All right, Patrick, chill out.
He never sounded like that.
Who sounded like that from SpongeBob?
Not Patrick.
Just one of the random. All
No,
right,
we're a side cast.
all right.
It was probably that one episode with the surfer guy. He was like, "Oh, righteous."
Ready, Chris?
Yeah.
In mid 1947, a United States Army Air Force balloon crashed at a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico. Following wide initial interests in the crashed flying disc, the U.S. military stated that it was merely a conventional weather balloon. Interest subsequently waned until the 1970s, when ufologists began promoting a variety of increasingly elaborate conspiracy theories claiming that one or more alien spacecraft had crash landed and that extraterrestrial occupants had been recovered by the military, which then engaged in a cover-up. That's what Wikipedia
what
says.
year?
A.k.a. anti-Wokepedia.
1947.
1947. Wow, a bunch of people crashed.
not-
So, Chris, can you
Mexico.
tell, since Wikipedia had that trash answer, can you tell us what really happened at Roswell?
There was a unidentified flying object that crashed, and the military fucking like quarantined the area and like let nobody see it.
And they recovered 2 alien bodies, one dead, one half alive. They resuscitated this creature. They named it EBE, Extraterrestrial Biological Entity, and they had him alive for a couple
I don't know
months.
this.
They communicated with him. They took pictures of him. They figured out that he had a immune system and a respiratory system and a circulatory system that wasn't couldn't adapt to this environment, so he was doomed, right? And he just wanted to go back, but they didn't have the technology to fix his thing. So basically the whole movie E.T. is based on EBE, who actually existed, and there's pictures of him online if you do the research. You want to find a picture of him? Look it up. Let's look it up. EBE. Type it in. E.B.E. And that's what the movie E.T. is based on. And it's funny
It says
because...
it's an X-Files episode.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
That's disinformation, bro. See, there's
All right.
something called controlled opposition, okay?
All right.
Jay.
All right, you're not in the right conspiracy sources, okay? Let me just look it up.
The X-Files.
Season 1, episode 17.
There you go.
Where do you think X-Files got it
Scully
from,
and
bro?
Mulder race to find a ship they suspect contains an extraterrestrial before the government can destroy it.
Yeah,
Wow.
where do you think they got it, dude?
Wow, this is getting sketch.
Here we go.
You
National
watching
Archives.
a fart to
Is
us?
that what stinks, dude?
National Archives, archives.gov. If you don't know what .gov means, it means it's a government website. The United States Air Force retired to the custody of the National Archives its records on Project Blue Book relating to the investigation of unidentified flying objects, aka identified flying objects. Just like that unidentified fart object I launched your way.
Oh man.
Okay, declassified.
No, that was identified immediately.
Declassified, and the records are available for examination in our research room. Yeah, right. Probably a load of shit.
Right.
Probably a load of fucking blackouts. Yeah, bro.
This episode is inspired by the movie All the President's Men. EBE was the first mythology-centered episode. Interesting. What is this movie? It's a 1976 movie about the Watergate scandal.
What?
Can we stay on topic, boys? Okay, I think we were talking about the Grateful Dead and how they're the best band ever to play.
It's got Dustin Hoffman in it.
You know what? If one more person asks me if I like the Grateful Dead and then says I look like a Grateful Dead type of person, I'm gonna fucking throw a cappuccino at them.
You look like a Grateful Dead type of person.
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
Thank
don't
you,
think so
Chris.
either.
Thank you, Jay. You guys know me. We're good friends.
Grateful Dead.
Mark
People
once
like-
said that he hates Grateful Dead dancing hippies.
That's not true. I am a dancing hippie. I just don't like jam bands. I'd rather be a dancing hippie at a Black Sabbath concert than a fucking
Like
Fish concert.
Structure.
Yeah, I like I like nice 8-minute long songs tops, okay? 8 minutes or shorter.
That sounds progressive.
3 to 8 minutes, okay? 4
I'd
minutes.
say 4 minutes max.
Dude.
5 minutes max.
8 minutes tops, dude. You ever
That's-
hear Stairway to Heaven? It's 7 minutes long, dude.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Come on, dude. A little bit
Mark-
of fucking lead. A little
So
bit
that
of Led
counts?
Zepp.
That structure is very advanced. So it can reach 7 minutes.
See that? For the podcast listeners who can't see this is a Led Zeppelin patch right here.
Nice feather patch.
Yep.
Looks like a nice one feather. A nice cyan.
So what do they do with the gold?
Well,
They fucking
gold,
They
like
eat
we
it.
said at the top of the podcast, is multiple uses, but one thing that they allegedly do is they put it in their atmosphere to help block.
Oh,
And
yes,
reflect.
I heard that.
Yeah, from me. I probably said it 30 times.
That's what we gotta do now, because our ozone layer.
Yeah, exactly. It reflects the ultraviolet
Sun.
sunlight. So their planet's atmosphere is fucked probably from years of being resource gatherers, and they need to venture off to other planets to get more resources. So now they bring that shit back to their home base because they're probably spiritually connected to their planet.
Wow.
That's what a lot of people don't understand is like we're spiritually connected to our planet. We can't just all jump on Elon Musk's party boat and sail off to Mars because then we're all becoming subhuman fucking cyborgs, and him and his little girlfriend who does this EDM music, they're gonna run Mars,
But
dude.
dude, Elon Musk, he resigned from SpaceX, bro.
Yeah, all right. That's just a cover story, bro. He resigned from SpaceX, and then probably so he can be part of some secret organization with Joe Rogan and go fucking light flamethrowers
Joe
and smoke
Rogan.
backwoods. Yeah, you didn't see what happened on Joe Rogan's podcast?
I saw the whole podcast. So what are you talking about?
I'm talking about how Elon Musk lost some money because of that blunt smoking.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the CIA was like, listen, Elon, that was cute and all, but we need you and Joe to head this new operation. And Elon was like, yeah, baby, I love it.
Which is the head of what? What did they put Joe Rogan the head of?
Dude.
Their fucking child fighting ring, dude.
Whoa, he's the commentator? Is he
Yep.
the commentator?
Yep, dude. Yeah, it's,
Their child fighting ring, dude.
yeah, dude, they're fighting
Sorry,
children.
Joe Rogan, if you're hearing this, I don't really mean that.
Joe Rogan got better things to do, bro. He's talking to Kelly Slater, professional surfer, talking to guys like that, okay? He talked to Dale Earnhardt Jr. last week on his podcast, and that was fucking cool because I hate NASCAR, but he was a legitimately cool guy.
NASCAR's one of the best sports.
Insert sound effect of a big buzzer
That,
going.
You really believe that?
Yeah, do you really believe that?
I think so. It's one of the only sports you can bring your own alcohol into.
What the hell are you talking about? You could bring your own beer to any hockey game in Canada, dude.
In Canada.
What the fuck are you talking
dude,
about?
That's because we live in a liberal prison complex.
First of all,
And
every
those
baseball
conservative-
stadium has 3,000 drunk people in it, so I don't think we need
Yeah, but you
any
can't
more
bring-
alcohol
I mean,
there.
yeah, you could bring your alcohol to the parking lot.
Yeah,
Drink
dude, what do
it
you think tailgating culture is all about, dude? It's literally all based on that one rule of not bringing your own beer. They're like, we can't bring our own beer, we're gonna drink it here. What do you mean?
We're gonna drink it right here,
They
right in the lot.
Yeah, it was literally the first time this law came out where you couldn't bring your own beer. All the people who brought their own beer just got pushed to like the side, and they all just pooled up until they were like, "Let's tailgate! Pull your cars up! Everybody brought their own beer. We're having our own party right here." And that
Come
was
on, let's shotgun this.
that's the birth of tailgating. And you know what? We're fucking assholes because we're from Connecticut, dude. We're not rednecks. We're not Southern people.
Any more dangerous ideas?
That is a dangerous idea, making fun of
Those
people from the
NASCAR
South.
states, bro.
Some of the nicest people on the planet are from the South of the United States, and we're making fun of them because you said NASCAR's cool. Give me a fucking break,
You
dude.
said you thought so, though.
Huh?
You said because you could bring your own beer.
Yeah. And when we started making fun of tailgating, like, who do we think we are, right? I tailgated when I was a kid with my mom at a Yale Bowl. And Yale sucks.
Yale Bowl.
And Yale sucks, dude. That's
Who
like,
cares?
I care, bro. All
Who
right.
cares? No
Who
one
are you-
cares. All right.
Who are you, dude?
No, not about your story.
Alright.
But like, who fucking cares if we just fucking
Get smashed,
shit all over
dude.
fucking dirty
Get shredded,
rednecks?
dude.
Make sure.
Hey. There's a lot of nice people in the South, okay? Dirty rednecks. Watch your tone.
This has
Loke.
been,
Watch your tone,
For the
Loke.
sake of comedy.
This has been Mark's Dangerous Ideas. Remember to tune in next week where Mark eats bark. That's
Whoa,
right.
whoa.
That is
We
not
just finished
a
rolling
rhyme.
the second blunt of truth, okay? We got at least 15 more minutes on this bitch.
All right, 15 more minutes and then Mark eats bark.
Yes, okay. It's fucking November 11th.
Mark, why are you eating bark?
I gotta get some bark before the fucking trees freeze.
Tell everyone why you're eating bark.
I lost the veggie challenge
Why'd you lose?
because
What?
I
What
ate
is
the
this?
I ate the least amount of fruits and veggies. Jay and Chris ate more fruits and veggies than me, so my punishment is that I have to eat bark.
No, we didn't. Who came up with that though? Who came up with that?
I
Because
did.
I didn't come up with that.
I did. It's not fun.
You didn't have to.
Well, I'm going to have commitment, okay?
All right, so
They call
how
me
are
Mark the Splinter Steves.
this is a dangerous
Splinter
idea.
stomach.
How are you going to eat this bark? Do you have a plan yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna saute it. I'm gonna saute it with broccoli Rob. He's my best friend. Me and broccoli Rob are gonna get in the kitchen. He said he's got 2 chef
Why do they
hats.
call him Broccoli Rub?
Dude, he's a chef, okay?
Okay, he just like really, like most of his dishes, broccoli's the main.
This sounds like an episode of The Office, Mark.
No, dude, he's a chef, and he said he had 2 chef hats, and I want to keep my hair out of my dish, okay? So I needed a chef hat.
I'm usually hanging around with like Pepperoni Pat.
Dude, Pepperoni Pat sounds like you made him up. So why don't you?
Wow, okay.
Why don't you get?
I mean,
why don't you go get
he goes,
Sal?
he goes to the gas station and gets $1.69 worth of mild pepperoni. Like,
Oh, really? Why don't you go hang out with Salami Sal then, while you're at it?
So you're gonna eat bark. That sounds good, and you're gonna saute it with broccoli Rob, your best friend.
Yeah.
sacrifices, man.
And it's gonna be broccoli Rob
Sacrifices.
and bark
That's what this podcast is about.
salad.
No, it's gonna be bark
Sacrifice.
and asparagus.
You just said broccoli Rob.
No,
No,
asparagus.
That's my co-chef. Spelled R-O-B, bro. Not rabies. I'm not eating broccoli rabies, okay?
Broccoli Rob.
It's gonna be him and his friend Asparagus.
Robert. Asparagus.
Yeah, asparagus, bro.
Asparagus.
There's like 3 of them. He's the spare.
Oh man. And are you gonna chop up? Are you gonna grate bark? it gonna be a fine powder or like some chunks?
With a little bit of Parmesan.
No, we're gonna turn it into noodles.
You're gonna turn. Wait, what? You're gonna saute bark noodles?
Yep.
Cut them into thin strips.
I'm not just gonna eat wood pulp. I'm just gonna shave it up into a pulp.
You could like grind it into a powder.
Survival food. I'm gonna make it into a yogurt gristle.
So does the Anunnaki have anything to do with
Grits and
destroying our, like what we had to do with the first episode and destroying our food system and our food?
Yeah,
Chain.
dude, because they don't want us to be powerful. They
So
want
like,
to
what do we gotta eat?
feed us slop. I would just go on the Joe Rogan diet. And
So
eat
if I
elk.
had a child and I homeschooled it and told it never drink fluoride water
Right.
That'd be a bad idea.
and never use fluoride toothpaste,
Nope.
then nothing will calcify my child's pineal gland, right?
It's too late, bro.
How is it? It's too late even if I birth a child?
At
I
the-
won't birth it.
At this
but
point, dude, you're better off
my
just
baby
letting
mama
them get
will.
brainwashed so they have a chance at becoming absorbed into the AI.
What?
Yeah.
What did you say?
So at this point in time, you have a better chance of letting them get brainwashed so they have a chance of getting absorbed into...
Why wouldn't my strategy work?
Because the AI is just going to sift them out.
What does that even mean?
It's going to kill everybody who has power. And it's going to keep only the subhumans alive.
So
That's a
it's just
dangerous
gonna
idea.
it's gonna kill what? My toddler?
No, it's going to take
My
anybody who has...
5-year-old with the
It's gonna take-
spidering-
It's going to take any alpha males and any alpha females
I'm
with
gonna name my
primary
child
DNA.
Galileo.
Ooh, it's going to kill all the alpha males and all the alpha females with all the good DNA, and it's going to leave only the subhuman that are, easily manipulated. And they're all going to be plugged into this virtual world where they just like have this
When is
thing.
this gonna happen?
It's just
Like
going to
10
be like a
years?
fleshlight attached to your cock or like a dildo.
Gyrating
A
like all the
dildo
time.
in your pussy, yeah, and you're gonna have like a
That doesn't
feeding
sound
tube.
half bad, dude.
You're gonna have a feeding tube, and you're gonna have like a nose insert so you can smell fantasy smells.
That's way better
And
than
then-
working.
Yeah, except you're gonna be a fucking battery for a machine, bro. You're gonna be a living battery,
Like the Matrix.
like a hamster on
When
a
is
wheel.
that? In 10
That's
years?
basically the plot of the
20
Matrix
years, that's
right
gonna
there.
happen, you're saying?
No, in
Because
about
like I could.
683 months.
That's a long time. That's a couple
decades.
Yeah.
Do the math.
Why 683 months?
Divided by 12.
I can't do that off the top of my head. It's not an even number though.
No, but that seriously is like the plot of the Matrix.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with not feeding my fucking kid fluoride and fluoride, having them use fluoride toothpaste?
No, you should do that, bro. If you want them to have a fighting chance.
Like, what other things calcify your pineal gland besides fluoride?
Let's look it up.
I know fluoride's a big one. I think a shitty diet is also is bad for it too, but I think fluoride is one of those main things. I still use fluoride toothpaste.
I don't. I told my dentist I don't either, and she was like, I'm gonna disagree with you on that, right? And I was like, yep. But I
Okay.
don't care.
You can
Gonna lose
stop
your teeth some fucking
Stop taking calcium supplements and synthetic calcium. Avoid using non-stick cookware with PFOA and PFC. Eat organic whole foods. You can... Let's see. What else can you do?
Decalcify your pineal gland, bro.
Yeah,
But I think it's already to the point where it's too calcified.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nope, it's never too late.
it's never too late. I mean, we're still early in our
Lives.
lives, yeah, to have discovered that information. That information wasn't readily available in the 1990s. We just invented computers in the 1990s, pretty much. At least the web, World Wide Web.
Fluoride used in public water is a non-pharmaceutical grade synthetic material like hydrofluoric acid or sodium fluoride. These are toxic chemical byproducts of aluminum, steel, cement, and other manufacturing. Synthetic fluorides are also hazardous waste products of the phosphate fertilizer industry. Hydrofluoric acid is used to refine gasoline and to make products including air conditioners, freezers, computer screens, fluorescent light bulbs, plastics, and pesticides. And these fluoride chemicals are added in small doses to the majority of our water supply. Do not be fooled, folks. Fluoride in the mineral form of calcium fluoride is natural, but is not the same as what they put in our water supply, pesticides or herbicides.
So there's many things you gotta watch out for. You want to decalcify that nut.
Yeah, you gotta reduce your chlorine consumption because chlorine is basically the same thing.
So never go swimming in a swimming pool.
Nope.
Sounds
And
good.
don't-
Disgusting.
And don't take calcium supplements that are synthetic calcium based.
I don't take any supplements.
Well, I do.
Why?
I take testosterone X so I can be the best man I need to be.
He also takes Samurai Zen when he needs to get hard at night.
Samurai
Samurai
Zen.
Zen.
Dude.
Where from the Getty?
Yeah. Look at this one. Bro, I'm about to risk it all and fail no nut November again.
And that was another episode of the Bud Triangle. Thank you for tuning in to Mark's Dangerous Ideas.
Come back for the next episode.
Who the hell was that guy? Anyways, I'm glad you guys stuck around this long because the Bud Triangle, you know, we're just having fun over here, just recording, smoking some reefer, listening to some stuff. So thanks for tuning in and listen to our next podcast. And be sure to send us a message. And if we like your message, then we're going to read it on our next podcast. So that's that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great triangular day.
Good night.